Hi everyone, this is Casey Faulkingham. I hope you are all doing well during this time. This is a presentation on the Socialist Party of Belgium. There are actually two socialist parties in Belgium, but this presentation will mostly focus on the French-speaking party. I chose this topic because when I was an undergraduate student at the University of Maine, I was afforded the opportunity to spend my spring semester of my third year abroad through the UMaine School of Social Work. At the time, I was 21 years old. It was 2011, and I remember trying to learn more about the government and the politics of Belgium, and I found it all to be very complicated. At the time, they were experiencing a financial crisis and, in fact, a government shutdown because they could not quite agree on a structure for their government. At the time, I was also honestly probably more concerned with chasing down the best waffles, chocolate, beer, and fries in the country, and to that I was successful. But since I am now 30 years old, I am older and wiser, I thought surely I will be able to better understand the politics of Belgium, and maybe they were just more complicated at the time, or they seemed more complicated to me because I was young and not as experienced. And I regret to inform you that I was very wrong about that. The politics and the government in Belgium are really just very complicated. So I am going to do my best to try to help you understand them in a brief video. First of all, Belgium, here we have it. It is a small country in Western Europe. It's about the size of the state of Maryland, except it's much more densely populated. So if you were to compare, the state of Maine is much bigger than the country of Belgium, but in Maine we have about 1.3 million people, and in Belgium they have 11.5 million people, so very densely populated. It is bordered by the Netherlands to the north, Germany to the northeast, France to the south, and Luxembourg to the southeast. They have three official languages: Dutch, French, and German. And in fact, most people do speak English, which is how I was able to survive. Belgium is officially the Kingdom of Belgium, and we have three main regions and three primary languages. Flanders is to the north, and they primarily speak Dutch or Flemish. Depending on who you ask, Flemish is either a language or a dialect. Then we have the Wallonian region to the south. They speak French, and then there is a portion that speaks German. In the Brussels capital region, they speak Dutch and Flemish and French, and so they are bilingual. And a fun fact about Brussels is that they are more linguistically aligned with the Flemish in the north, but culturally more aligned with the French in the south. And do not be fooled by the simplicity of this slide. Things are much more complicated. The speaking communities do not necessarily completely align with the territorial regions. So the government structure, what do we got? We have a federal constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system in Belgium. Like I said, they really cannot decide. They have a king, which is mostly a symbolic position, and a prime minister. They have three groups that have authorities and decision-making. At the federal level, we have a Chamber of Representatives and a Senate, just like in the US, and they make decisions on foreign affairs, defense, justice, finance, social security, healthcare, and internal affairs. And then we have communities, which are all language-based, and they make decisions on language, culture, education, and aid to people in need. And then we have regions, which are territory-based, and they make decisions on economy, employment, public works, transportation, environment, spatial planning, and some international affairs. So if you're confused, I'm not sure I can help, but I'm going to try. So here we have Belgium. Again, we have the federal state. So they have a federal government and a federal parliament. That's for the whole country. And then we have the French-speaking community, and they have one government and one parliament. So here we have that in the south, and then we have some French speakers again in Brussels, so they do have some say in the capital. And then we have the Wallonian region, which has one government and one parliament, and that's in the south, and that covers this red region and the purple region, or the blue rather, which combined makes purple. And the German community, which is about the language, not about the territory, they have one government and parliament, and that's the blue region. And then, thank God, the Flemish decided to merge their community and their region, and they have one government and one parliament. And so if you are counting, which I certainly was, Belgium has 6 separate governments and 6 separate parliaments. Boy. They are a multi-party system divided by language and region. The New Flemish Alliance is very much a very popular party, and they maintain quite a bit of control in the country. And then next we have the Socialist Party. That's the party we're going to focus on. The Christian Democratic and Flemish, Open Flemish Liberals and Democrats, Reformist Movement, the Socialist Party differently, so that's the Flemish-speaking party. The Green Party, Groen, the Humanist Democratic Center, the Workers' Party, which gotta love this acronym, which is longer than just saying Workers' Party. Actually, the Workers' Party is the only party that is bilingual. The Flemish Interest, Ecolo, Francophone Democratic Federalists, the People's Party, and the Libertarian Direct and Democratic. So at the federal level, we have the King Philip. He's been the head of state since 2013. His position, again, mostly symbolic, but he does appoint some cabinet officials. And then we have our Prime Minister, Sophie Wilmès, and she has been in power since October 2015. She holds executive power along with other ministers. They make sure that they have no more than 15 ministers, and they make sure that that is evenly split between Flemish-speaking ministers and French-speaking ministers. I'm not sure what exactly that means for the Germans. She is a part of the Reformist Party, and she is the first female head of government in Belgium. Again, in the federal legislature, we do have a Chamber of Representatives and a Senate. Chamber has 150 members, Senate 50 members, sort of similar to the US. The New Flemish Alliance seems to be the party with the most seats in both the chamber and in the Senate, but closely behind we have, well, sort of closely behind, we have the Socialist Party with 23 seats. And the Socialist Party, the French-speaking, does have 7 seats in the Senate as well. And of course, these don't completely add up to the totals, just trying to give you an idea of the parties that are more in control in both the chamber and the Senate. But just about every single party that was named on the previous slide has representation in the chamber and the Senate. The Socialist parties were at one time one party. And they were established for the working man. But in, not exactly sure when, but they did split, just like most of the parties, because of the language. So the Socialist Party is French speaking, and the Socialist Party differently is Dutch or Flemish speaking. The French-speaking party, it has a little bit more power in the country. Their leaders are Elio Di Rupo and Rudy Vervoort. And the Socialist Party differently is led by Bruno Tobak, or at least he's one of their leaders, I should say. The Socialist Party, the French-speaking party, is more regionally focused. They have strong footing in the municipalities and more popularity with the low-income population. Whereas the Socialist Party differently, they are they were active in the countrywide peace movement, and their bylaws state that they are unconditionally democratic and social. There are not a ton of differences between the two parties other than they speak different languages, they are two different parties, and they serve different regions. The primary goal of the Socialist Party is to organize within a class struggle context all of the socialist forces in Wallonia in the south, in the Brussels capital, without distinction of race, sex, language, nationality, religious beliefs, or philosophy, in order to get office and achieve workers' complete emancipation, which they have been quite successful in. Here we have Elio. Elio was the prime minister before Sophie Wilmès. He is the current prime minister, or excuse me, the current minister president of the Walloon region. And then we have Rudy, and Rudy is the current minister president of the Brussels capital region. So the Socialist Party does in fact lead both the Wallonian region and the Brussels capital region formally, as they are the minister presidents. The main reason for our participation in government is to prevent the dismantling of Social Security, and this does remain true. The Socialist Party, PS, they want to keep and defend the social welfare model that is currently in place in Belgium. It is quite good. They are satisfied with it. They want to defend any threats to it. Employment is one of their top priorities because unemployment rates are pretty high in Wallonia and Brussels. They support investment and innovation, business creation, and strengthening workers' training. They support increased healthcare coverage for Belgians. So Belgium has universal healthcare, but if anything, they want to expand and increase benefits for Belgians. They support the decriminalization of abortion. They support physician-assisted suicide. They support marriage equality and adoption rights for same-sex couples. I found these two YouTube videos at the bottom to be really helpful in trying to tease out the many nuances to the government structure. And questions. In your opinion, what are the benefits and drawbacks of a multi-party political system? And do you think the ideals of the Socialist Party align at all with the NASW Code of Ethics? Please explain your thoughts. I'll leave you with this beautiful photo. Belgium, though it may be a very complicated country, it is a very beautiful country and very much worth the visit. Thank you.